been following along since the beginning of this show, you've gotten a couple dates. You have 2 days, 2 months out now that you've blocked off for planning. You got a couple ideas on who you want to invite along with the plan. If you got a partner of yours or some of your key team you want to have, probably no more than I'd say 3 or 4 people at most. To kind of pull off site for a couple days, going somewhere else. So you're going to start to get this plan down. You're going to task somebody if you're going to do it yourself to find a place that's not on site to get out of there. So you got that kind of moving along. And now we're working on the agenda a little bit in terms of what stuff do we want to be able to kind of talk about and be able to accomplish as part of this.
So if you're preparing for that meeting, because it's so far in advance now, and you tell your key people, you sit down and say, look, we're going to put planning in this company. I'm the boss. And damn it, I want planning in my company. So we're going to go away and we're going to, wherever you go, we're going to go away for a couple of days and we're going to put a plan. We're going to do the best of our ability to get a plan. So I have 6-8 weeks to prepare for this. I'm one of your key employees. I'm you. And I can start jotting down small or how questions. And you can have a very worthwhile planning session, very worthwhile for a couple of days with just a list of how questions.
That's right, and you're hearing us correctly. You're going to have at least one night over. So for those cheapos out there, you're going to have to pony up for some hotel rooms for people.
That's right.
So
we don't want to hear complaints, and make sure you eat well too.
Right. It's all part of the experience. Where you're going to get away. You might treat yourself a little bit, but again, it's getting out of your normal day-to-day stuff. It's getting you together for a good probably at least 36 hours over the course of those 2 days, where you're going to be together a lot. And a lot of good things come out of those discussions. And you have enough of a loose agenda. Jack has gone through some questions or some how questions to kind of go after. We talked about things that are going to touch on those 7 keys. Whether it be customer issues, whether it be people issues. Okay, customer issues are part of the marketing plan, which is key number 3. The people issues, whether it be email. Okay, that's part of the organization plan, key number 4. Jack's mentioning cash flow issues. Okay, that's key number 6. If we're looking at those issues, what's kind of going on, I guarantee you'll have plenty of things under each of those 7 keys to kind of talk about. You're going to have to narrow it down and say, hey, let's make sure we only spend a couple hours on each of these things to make sure we can at least talk about some of these things and then be able to get them.
You're going to talk about good stuff relating to your business and the direction it's going. And how can you be a leader without that ability to sort of paint a little vision or a big vision, whatever it's going to be, and then some steps, searching for the steps to get there. That's what it's all about, guys. It isn't as complicated as many people will make it, and because they don't really know how to plan, they don't find reasons to plan, and that then becomes, I don't have time for it. Well, it's because you don't know what you're doing, and quite often you don't, as the owner of a business. That we see that all the time.
So one of the things you want to make sure that wherever you're going to go has, or you bring with you, are some of these big sticky flip chart things that you can write on. Have they put them on easels, stick them up on the walls. These are great ways to get stuff out and to have people present. Key number 7 for our 7 keys to success is presenting, and getting up out of their seats to help write things up on a flip chart or whiteboard is a very, very key part of this.
Very empowering.
Whole process.
You don't realize it until you do it, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's getting everybody on the same page. It starts with the leadership, to Jack's point. The leadership is key number 5. Okay, so what kind of leaders are you? Well, it starts with you as the owner to help lead this kind of discussion, get it moving along. And how is your team leading right now? So what's our plan going to be? Get those. Always ask that question. Come back to the college kids starting a company that Jack's grandsons are working with. What's the plan? Well, if we don't have the answer for that for your own company, if you don't have the answer, if your team doesn't have the answer, where
are you going?
Yeah, you're just moving along. You're going to keep doing the same thing you're doing. It's going to go into today, to tomorrow, to next week, to next year, to 20 years from now.
Oh wait, might that be a reason that so many small businesses don't make it past 3 years, 5 years? What was the? You were throwing out some statistics.
Those are terms of from one generation to the other. Yeah,
that's right.
But no, that's
right,
true.
Generational. Yeah.
More than half the companies won't even make it beyond 5 years.
That's right. Why is that? Well, to us, it's a lack of planning. you jump in, you end up often starting to use your own resources, and they get exhausted, and either you get pushed out of business or you just say, hey, I can't afford this anymore. And that's a big part of it. Well, planning would offset that tremendously if you had a planning culture. It just does. It's the best way and the only way that we know for sure to do it.
I guarantee you to try this, because if you do, you'll come back energized, new perspective on your business, new perspective on your team, maybe even some new perspective on yourself in terms of how you are as a leader, what you can do, what is possible. I think it's good to get away in this manner for a few days. It really is, because and if you do tend to it, or tend to really enjoy this, you'll find that maybe having a couple of these a year, but certainly at least one a year, to kind of, again, get away, because the days and the weeks and the months go by. I mean, we're already here almost at the end of the first quarter, Jack. It's already March.
Man, amazing.
It goes by quick. It really does. And so
well, you just put away your Christmas tree, didn't you?
I did.
So that's right.
Last weekend.
You're gonna have to get it out again pretty quick.
That's right. That's right. So things go by really, really quickly, and getting them on the calendar is a big part. Because I know most of us live by our calendars. If it's in the calendar, usually will get done. But don't move stuff around. And again, being in charge is a big part of what your job is as the owner, as a leader of the business. And it starts with the plan.
And don't tell us you can't get away. You can get away. We could go mark your calendar for you. We could answer all these questions for you and tell you how to do it. So a lot of people will, I'm too busy. When I come back from being a couple days off, I got all these emails. I got all these problems. I got all these issues. Or if I give my number to these people while I'm away for 2 days with my team, I'm going to get calls, interrupting me. So come back to Adam's point before. Who's in charge? Mm-hmm. You own the friggin' company. What do you want to do with it?
Well, people take your lead. So what entails an emergency? Well, you decide what the emergency is going to be, and if you're talking to them about it, then they'll make it happen, and they'll not bother you. And in fact, people will usually, what we find is people like when the boss isn't there.
That's right.
I mean, you're a likable guy or gal. Don't get me wrong, but again, people like to have time away when you're not there to kind of get things done, because you can be very disruptive, whether you know that or not. That's a topic for a different
That is,
day,
yeah. The owners of small businesses usually aren't in touch with their power. You are the man or the woman when it comes to who sets the pace there. You're always the priority to everyone who works for you.
Well, that's one of the questions one of the how questions people don't usually ask. I mean, it's usually the owner isn't asking. Usually it's the team, right? How do we make the owner less disruptive? And they may not use that term, but that's kind of what they're talking about, because whenever the owner speaks, people will listen. The chances are, if you put it in the calendar, look at your key team's calendars 2 months from now, they're going to have those dates open. Get them in there. If you accomplish nothing else this week, get those 2 days locked down.
Get it done. That's right. Get it done.
We'll see how you're doing when we get back here from our planning trip. So